attention. ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ ಚೆನ್ನೈ Hyderabad Express Railway Station Netaji Bhavan.
Hello and welcome to Voltas FreshAir Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. Well, Hyderabad taking on KKR is the biryani derby, and joining me for this biryani derby, I've got two people. One who's got royalty in his blood when it comes to being Bengali, Joy Bhattacharjya, and Rohan Gavaskar, who's played so much cricket for Bengal that he's half Bengali himself.
Listen, I'll tell you one thing. If this is a battle between biryanis, SRH stand no chance.
So it's decided,
no
right?
chance. As far as the biryani is concerned, SRH stand no chance.
Let's just say this on a close-up to Harsha Bhogle and say that this is settled once and for all. Rohan Gavaskar, Joy Bhattacharjya, we know that biryani is in your blood, so there's no debate there.
It's the aloo that makes all the difference. I don't know if other people agree with me, but the aloo makes all the difference. And Hyderabadi biryani, as much as I love it, no chance compared to the Kolkata biryani.
You think Harsha is getting hiccups, Joy?
See, firstly, Harsha shouldn't even think about it. For a vegetarian to comment about biryani is like a teetotaler commenting about good scotch.
That's exactly. Not biryani, that's a pulao.
It's like a teetotaler commenting about scotch. It doesn't make it. So, Harsha's opinion does not matter. Respectfully in this matter.
All right. It's been settled then, once and for all. Mr. Harsha Bhogle, your opinion on biryani doesn't matter at all. We though miss you here. Not to eat vegetarian food, but in general, we miss you very much here. But Hyderabad taking on KKR, they will both want to eat a lot of biryani when they win because it is a crucial win for both these teams. Hyderabad have won the toss. They've decided to bowl first. But Joyda, when you look at those points table, neither of this team is smiling because it's 8 and 10. 3 games. They've just won 1, so it is a not do or die, but a very crucial game for both.
It's a crucial game, but I think the big thing is that it's early days yet. It's really, really early days yet, and you're in a situation where right now, whichever team loses, okay, then 1 and 3, then you start to begin to worry because what happens is then you start questioning yourself, and you know what happens. Whoever wins this will go on and say, okay, this what happened before this was a blip, and we've now got on its business as usual. Whoever loses this, I think there'll be a little bit more pressure on them. And I think one of the big things that we are hearing about is the pressure of, how teams play their game, and, how Pat Cummins. And I think we need to discuss those things a bit more. How is Pat Cummins approaching it? How is the KKR think tank approaching this?
But is there panic, you think, in the dressing room, or it's too early to panic right now?
Too early to panic. I think, as Joy said, this is a crucial game though. Yes. Let's make no mistake about that because as Joy said, if you've lost 3 out of 4, then you think, oh, hold on, next game becomes a sort of must-win game. And you don't want to play any games with that kind of pressure. So while this is too early to panic, it's still a really crucial game. I think both teams will be thinking, okay, listen, we've got the squad. At the start of the season, I've tipped RCB to win the title and SRH to be right up there. So I still have a lot of faith in SRH, just having a look at their batting lineup. So they'll be thinking, look, we've got the talent, we've got the squad, we've got, from SRH's point of view, we've got an experienced leader in Pat Cummins who knows how to handle the big stage and the big pressure games. That's important. When your leader is there, knowing what to do in the big games, when the pressure's on the team, just sort of spreading calm amongst your players, it's a big deal. So I don't think there will be panic yet though.
Well, he seems to be that person who gets that calm, but he's been making statements, I feel, Joyda, that Pat Cummins said that day we want to outbat the opposition, and then even if we go to a new venue, this is what he had to said. He said, I think a few teams, they go to the next venue and think it might be a good wicket, let's play safe, let's get 160 or 170, that's not our team. But Joyda, we've been seeing them 286, then they've come to 190, now they've come even lesser, they didn't finish their 20 overs. So do you think they're being too aggressive from the word go?
So 2 things. One is he's made the statement all right. What is he doing today?
Yeah.
He's batting second. Okay. If this was all Pat Cummins is saying and it's all that he's doing, okay, then Pat Cummins, whatever, you have a chance to bat first and put 250 on the board and finish this off, you're not doing it, right? So Pat is a very, very bright, very smart man. I've seen him since 2014. And I think he's a student of business administration. He's an MBA. For somebody to do an MBA while still playing top level cricket is a different matter altogether. So he's putting that front out there because he wants everyone to know that, okay, this is us, fearsome SRH, fearsome batting side. But I think internally they're thinking, okay, what do we do? This is the match, crucial match. Let us put the pressure on them. Let them bat first. Let's see where it goes. Because if we, right now, when do you put teams into bat? One is that when your own batting hasn't been clicking that much. Secondly, the other thing that you need to do, you're putting a person in, is when you're not sure how this pitch will play.
Yeah. I was just going to say it might be related to the pitch. Because if you have a look at the batting collapses, and hear me out when I say this, luck plays a really important factor. Sometimes all things being equal, you don't want luck going against you. Now you look at what SRH have, where they've got a little bit of luck going against them. One, Ishan Kishan, after he got his 100, the next innings he was caught down the leg side. As a batter, I always say that's a very unlucky dismissal. Then Henrik Klaasen got run out when the ball deflected off the bowler onto the stumps. These are unlucky dismissals to two quality batters. Now if that doesn't happen, you don't know so if they had a little bit of luck going their way, we'd be lauding their approach. I still laud their approach. I still think that is the way to bat when you're batting first. When you're batting second, your approach to batting will need to differ.
Yes.
They can't go hell for leather from ball. I mean, probably the number 1, 2, 3 can. But if you lose a couple of early wickets, then depending on what total you're chasing, you'll have to respect the conditions, respect the opposition, and pace your chase accordingly. When you're batting first, you've got the license, doesn't matter if you're number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you've got the license to go hard because that's the team strategy, and that strategy has worked really well for them. They were in the finals last year. They lost the finals, but the way they've started, they've put the fear of God into a lot of opposition bowlers. A lot of opposition bowlers thinking, oh, listen, when SRH are batting, is it going to be 230, 240? That's the chatter before the game started.
It was 300 before the season started.
Will they breach 300?
Yes.
So that's the fear of God that you've put in the opposition. So I don't think they will change their approach if they're batting first. Batting second, they will, in my opinion, they will have to change their approach a little bit. You can't be going all guns blazing.
You shouldn't need to.
You don't need to, because if you're chasing 180, you don't think about finishing it down in like 12, 13 overs. But as Joy said, is this decision to chase, is it dependent on the pitch? Is the pitch a factor because you think, okay, maybe Dew might come in a little later and that might help our batters? Or is this where you're thinking, okay, let's just, for one game, take the pressure away from our batters?
Absolutely.
In terms of, okay, the spotlight's on them right now. The spotlight's heavily on the batters because, after that big first innings score in the first game, as we've said, they didn't even finish their allotted 20. So take the spotlight away from them for this and see what happens and see how they chase, and then maybe get back to routine plan A again from the next game.
Well, Ajinkya had to say that B would have liked to bowl as well. So the pitch looks good, but clearly their deciding base is the pitch. But Pat Cummins really well, and you say that statement he's made, is it also an Aussie trait to go and make these statements, play with the opposition, or he's not that kind of a guy?
No, he is. He is that kind of guy. So Pat Cummins is as ruthlessly tough an Aussie you can get, but not the old style Aussie. So the ruthlessly style, old style Aussies used to be in the dressing room, you'd shout, you'd haze younger players, you'd be boorish. Pat is just as tough as each and any one of them. The only thing is, his demeanor is much more calm and all that. He says, you don't need to shout at players to get them motivated. I know how to get them motivated. What does he have under his belt? A T20 World Cup, a World Cup, a World Test Championship. He's done everything there is. There is no captain. I mean, of course, Ponting and all were not around in those days, but nobody has that record. In the history of cricket, nobody has that record. So he is, in many ways, the most successful captain in all formats of the game. So he knows exactly what he is doing, and I think that's what you've got to be very careful about when you're KKR and you're looking at him, because he's going to make a statement. What he's saying in the dressing room may be totally different from it, and he's very capable of playing one side here and doing what he needs to do to win.
But when we had a look at that points table, KKR, of course, are at number 10, but the worry is also that net run rate, because the way they've lost has been in huge margins. Do you think that's going to play on their head as well?
It shouldn't at this stage. When I say at this stage, the most important thing for KKR is to get points on board. Not try to think that we need to win by a big margin. Because now when you're at the bottom of the table at this stage, you're not thinking about 1 and 2, you're thinking about number 4.
Correct. This is exactly that. Abraham Maslow's needs. My need is to win.
Yes.
Run rate is up here.
So, and then once you start going on a little bit of a winning run, and then you're thinking, okay, listen, now, maybe now, we can take an extra risk or two in trying to improve our net run rate. That's what you do it. But at the moment, it's not even, like I said, coming in the top 2. It's just somehow coming in the top 4, qualifying.
Yes.
And, I mean, we're still a long way from that. But that's what the thought process should be. Get points on board. 1 game at a time, get a victory under the belt, move on to the next game.
Well, it's just that the IPL moves so quickly that we say 3 games, it's just starting off. But before you know it, you're already into that qualification stage, which is why they need to be, aware from the word go.
Sorry, can I just add something to that last question of yours? When you're talking about net run rate, they shouldn't be worrying about winning by a big margin, but they should be worrying about losing by a big margin.
Yeah.
If they're in a situation where they're losing the game, and you know, okay, this game's nearly gone, then you've got to try and get as close to the target as possible and think, okay, listen, let's soften the blow here. But in terms of getting that victory and points on board, don't think about winning by
Very fair point.
Yes.
by a big margin.
Well, let's have a look at KKR's playing 11, see if they have any changes at all for their home game. Moeen Ali is back, Joyda.
No, absolutely. And
This is
that also gives you an indication of the pitches.
So no Spencer in here. This
Yeah.
is their batting 11.
So So no, and that's the point, that the way they've structured it, they will not, this international player will not come in after this. So these are 4 international players. So which means that spin is a huge factor in what they want to do. Now I want to say one thing though. KKR bats till 9. True. But here's my point, and I believe this, and this is true of all teams. We look at those batting sides and they bat very deep. But the truth of it is that when you're 75 for 6, it is still 75 for 6.
Yeah.
You have lost 6 players. You may have 2 batters left in the hatch, but mentally it's not that easy to say that I'm going to walk in at 6 and I'm going to play the same way because I'm a batter. A lot of it, so that's the one thing that, they have a very, very deep batting side. But the kind of risks they took up front last time,
100%.
it didn't make sense. Batter number 1 taking this, you understand.
Yes.
2 taking this. 3 taking this. After that, you're saying, hold on, play out 4-5 overs. Everyone was attacking throughout.
Well, that's what both the teams have been doing. So it'll be interesting to see how they go about things. But we spoke about how Pat Cummins is Aussie from the inside, from the outside, he's very mellow and nice. But the other captain on the other side, he's someone who's very mellow from the outside. But how do you think he's going to play out, motivate his players today? Because it is a crucial game.
Well, it's a massive game. It's a massive game for both of them. Ajinkya, as you said, mellow from the outside. But again, his cricketing career and his cricketing record tells you that he's got a steely spine. It's not, the exterior says, okay, a little soft-spoken. But when he came in as captain of India, you saw what a really good job he did. As a batter, you saw the grit and determination he had when he was batting in test match cricket. So that tells you that, okay, while, he may be soft-spoken and, very polite, very cultured, very mannered, there will be a ruthless streak in him too. So look, pretty similar in terms of personality.
You're absolutely right. They are very similar.
Pretty similar in terms of personality, both of them. The only difference being Pat Cummins got a lot more captaincy wins under his belt. But so does Ajinkya. He's got that wonderful, he's got a wonderful captaincy
That
record.
century in Australia, that changed it. Your captain has gone back on a plane, you come back, you've done 36 all out and you lead your team to victory. I'll tell you that's one thing. If Rahane needs to be, and I think that's one of the big things, you can make out no matter who's a part of the coaching staff in SRH, it's Pat Cummins' team. Okay? I think for Rahane to play at his best, to do at his best, right now this must be Rahane's team. It cannot be Dwayne Bravo's team, it cannot be anybody else's team. You have to give Rahane this team and say, here are the boys, here are the players, we are all support staff. What's the operational word? Support. You're the captain. We are support. We'll give you the surround. You tell us what you need. But you have to give him the team. And you can make out that whatever else he's not, Pat has got that support.
But Joy, I think that might be a little tough. I think the situation is slightly different for both captains in terms of SRH were one step away from winning the title. So they'll be doing all that they can to support Pat Cummins. Ajinkya Rahane, on the other hand, is coming into a title-winning side.
And a new captain.
And a new captain. So the title-winning side will think, listen, hang on a minute. We know what we're doing. We won the title last year. So he may not get that. Again, this is just assuming. He may not get that full, unconditional reign of control over the team.
Which is what I think he needs.
Yeah.
That's my point.
Yeah.
I feel you're absolutely right.
Yes.
I feel there are a lot of people who will have an opinion on it, but what they need is to give one person. Teams are not run by democracy.
Yeah.
That's the truth. You listen to everyone. Team is not run by democracy. There's one guy who hears everyone say, this is what I'm doing.
And cricket is very different from football. I'm going to give you a football distinct. But in football, it's the manager who controls everything.
Yes.
The manager or coach on the sideline. In cricket, it's the captain who controls everything. Now, if the captain doesn't have your trust, you're going to struggle.
Let's have a look at what Pat Cummins' side is looking like today. Let's have a look at Hyderabad's playing 11 and see their changes. 2 changes in there. This is their bowling 11. So Mendes is in and Simarjeet is in. They will get that extra bat in later. But Joyda, surprised to see these changes?
Yeah, I mean, Travis Head is definitely going to be your impact sub who probably comes in. But that means Abhinav Manohar does not play. Rahul Chahar does not play. Can we look at the team again? Adam Zampa is not even among the reserves.
Oh,
Yeah.
So who are their spinners in there then?
So this is
There's Zishan Ansari.
There's Zishan Ansari, and that's what I'm saying. This looks like a pitch that suits fast bowling, that suits seam bowling. And there's this team, there can be no
So
other.
they've got Pat Cummins, Simarjeet, Harshal, Mohammad Shami.
Yeah.
So Abhishek Sharma and
Coming to Montes
Zishan.
can give them, Nitish Reddy will give them with the ball.
Yeah.
So the interesting, look, this is telling you this is a pitch that is suiting fast bowling. No Zampa, no Chahar is telling you something. Even a Jaydev Unatkar not there, that means it's not that the ball is holding up a bit. They think this is a rocket of a pitch.
But KKR thinks otherwise because Moeen Ali is in for KKR.
Exactly,
So
that's what
it's a little confusing then.
See, but Moeen for me, I think, is more a batting swap than anything else. They're saying, okay, we got out for 121. Let's put another seasoned international batter in there. But I mean, I'm looking at you're right, because you look at this pitch and say that 2 captains have they inspected different pitches.
Different pitches. It looks like they've gone and seen different
The one
pitches.
good thing I'll say about this is that none of us had to do the pitch report. Otherwise, you'd be saying one thing, something else completely
I've
happened.
seen so many senior cricketers sweat before the pitch report because they said, all that people talk about it, you don't really know how the service
Joy, I'll tell you, when I was captain of Bengal, I had a very simple rule. It was win, toss, bat first. Because
don't
that
know.
no, it just generally bat first, whatever. But so I wouldn't look at the pitch. My teammates would go have a look at the pitch and then they'd come to me and say, okay, listen, Ro, I think
today you should bowl first.
no, just have a look. It might be a little damp, or it might be a little extra green. So have a look and see how it goes. But otherwise, everyone sort of knew that win, toss, bat first.
Yeah, and because the pitch on the 4th day will be worse than it is in day 1.
Yeah, absolutely. And also in Ranji Trophy, you wanted to bat as much as you can, not field twice.
No, but KKR are batting first. I want to understand from you all, are you all happy with the batting lineup? Because we spoke about how deep they bat. But do you think Angrish coming in at 4, Venkatesh Iyer likes to play 1, 2, 3? Are they not getting their due spots and not playing where they like playing?
I think it's a very fair question because I think the thing that have tried to do is first they've tried to accommodate Rahane at 3. Okay, because it's a very important part to give the captain enough balls. And a situation where Rahane can hit pace, he can hit spin, but he needs to be in early where there are gaps in the field because he's a touch player, not a power player so much. So they want to get him in there. To do that, they've moved their balance around a bit. Now, that may be costing them because everyone has therefore moved forward, backward, backward. Because remember, Shreyas' spot was 4. Whereas Rahane's spot is 3. And that, I think, has shaken it up. And I think, yes, you're right. Venkatesh Iyer is not getting as many hits. This team needs Rinku Singh and Venkatesh Iyer to fire. Because, yes, Ankrish is great, Ramandeep is great. But for them to win games, Rinku and Venkatesh Iyer are the kind of players who are going to give them 2 to 3 wins a season. You're going to tell them that you guys, you can't deliver for me 14 innings, but 2-3 match-winning innings, you've got to give me in 14.
And that's the thing is, last year with Rinku, we spoke about how he was not getting enough strike. That was the problem.
Yeah.
It's been 3 games, he's played 2 games. We've seen, I remember you were sitting right there, Joyda, when he got those 5 sixes.
Yeah,
you were
absolutely.
falling off the chair. So we know what he can do, Rohan. But do you think that, he's not living up to the potential he has?
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think Rinku, for me, is one of the top T20 players in our country. You can have a couple of games where, you do badly. But I have full faith that by the end of the tournament, this will be just a blip. And we'll be talking about the fact that he's done well for KKR. Because he's got... it's not just his finishing ability. He's got the ability to pace his innings and then finish off with a bang. So he respects the conditions that are there. He doesn't go, again, bang, bang, bang from ball 1 if he doesn't need to. He's got the ability to do both, and which is priceless. The fact that he can bat from 6th gear right from ball 1, or if he needs to go from 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, and then boom, last 3 overs is, boundaries everywhere. He's got that ability. So I think there's no doubt in my mind that he will come good for KKR and come really good for KKR this season.
It's interesting you say that, because Michael the other day was saying how Tim David is a player who he doesn't need to get too many balls. He's that player who needs those 15 balls and he'll go bang, bang, bang. Do you think Rinku is that player? He's someone who can settle into a different role. He can start slow, then accelerate later, like you're saying, or he's just that finisher? Can
I give you one difference, okay? Tim David in 2019 started playing list A cricket. Okay.
I was just going to say.
Till 24-25, he's not yet playing regular cricket. Even for Surrey, his county, he's not playing regular first-class cricket. Okay. Rinku Singh averages almost 60 in the Ranji.
He was. Now maybe a little less, but at one point it was 60.
Yeah, he was 60. Yeah. So he's almost 60 in the Ranji Trophy. So you're talking about 2 very different players. Rinku Singh has that ability to play long innings. If you remember, he and Rohit came in with India 22 for 4 and took them through and really accelerated towards the end. Rinku has all the shots in the book. He has everything in the book. The only thing Rinku has this year, which is a bit more problematic than last year, was last year he was a 65-70 lakh player. This year he's the most expensive retention for KKR. And the only person...
And rightly so, may I add.
Yeah, and rightly so. I don't have a problem with
that. No, not saying you do,
yeah,
but I'm just saying...
Absolutely.
It's well-deserved.
It's well-deserved. So you're talking about that player. This is the player they're saying my generation player. Okay? So they have invested a lot in him because they think he can bat at 3, 4, 5, 6 everywhere, and they're right. He can. Now the question is for him just to deliver on the promise.
Well, like we said, we've seen the potential he has, and we want him to get those numbers higher and higher. Rohan, he's got this. He'll need to fix the stat because he likes to play pace more than spin, is what the stat says. Do you think technically he needs to do something different against spin?
I don't think so, because if you're averaging around 60 in first-class cricket in India, you generally will be a pretty decent player of spin. It's okay. I mean, when you look at... It's this tournament, though.
This tournament?
In IPL or this year?
No, this is more than this. The numbers are
the numbers are 648 runs, 274 in IPL. So look, it's something... which when I see these numbers, it's a little bit surprising.
I'm quite surprised.
It's very surprising that, these numbers, but yeah, I mean, when you look at these numbers, you've got to go by data and you've got to say, yes, he may need to
change it
against quality spin.
Correct.
Because, you come across against, but he practices against Sunil Narine and all.
Also, my other point is that today he won't be worried. Today they aren't any spinners.
They've decided that this pitch is not going to turn. So.
He's only going to look at Abhishek Sharma bowling. He's going to see Abhishek Sharma bowling.
And Zishan, the other youngster. But no Zampa is a really big surprise.
No Zampa, no. Rahul Chair is not even Rahul Chair is there in the reserve. Zampa is not
even in the reserve. But he's not going to play because
Travis Head will come. Travis Head has to come.
Yes.
So there's no option.
Now that we are at this discussion of the SRH bowling, something which I haven't understood, that we have spoken so much about the SRH batting and how just devastating they are. The SRH is a very decent bowling lineup. Because they've got Pat Cummins, they've got Mohammad Shami, they've got Adam Zampa, they've got Harshal Patel, Simarjeet. So they've got on paper, a very, very decent bowling lineup. Why do you think they're not managing to convert this on field?
See, I think there are 2 things. Okay, one is that if you're going to go and get 250, 260, okay, other team will come to 210, 220 because they're going to take more chances against you. Therefore, When you look at economy rates, okay, I think this is the one stat that I always believe should be there. Don't look at economy rates, look at comparative economy rates. So if I'm saying that if the average bowler in this match is going at 8, am I going at 7.5? If the average bowler is going for 10,
Absolutely.
am I going for 9.5?
If the team total is 280 or 300, right? That means you've gone at 15 runs and over most bowlers. And if you've gone for 12 in that, you've done a magnificent job.
Yes.
Exactly. And so my point is that if your batters are going to put up big totals, 260s, 270s, your bowlers are going to go for 220s and 230s because they'll take more risks against you. They are going to swing the bat harder. If you're going to get out for 150 in a match or 160 in a match, your average chase is 160, your bowlers will look better as well. But that's not a true stat. And that's what I'm always saying, that in cricket, so much of it depends on the pitch. So much of it depends on how much you are scoring. You know, when you're looking at bowlers, do not look at bowlers at what just they're doing. Look at what your batters are doing because you're forcing the other team's batters to also go hard at you.
And that's something Yuzi was saying. Yuzi Chahal said that, 4 overs 40 is now the new normal because giving away 10 runs in T20 cricket is all right because just the number of runs being scored are so much more.
That's why I keep saying it's a bowler's game. And honestly, I'm not saying it with any sort of sarcasm. I'm trying to say that everything is so much in favor of the batters, right? That the bowlers can get away with murder. That if you're going for 10, 12 runs and over, that means you've been hit for 3 boundaries and over. So every alternate ball is being hit for a 4 and people are saying it's acceptable.
I would have loved to hear Simon Dooley's reaction to this because he is so upset that there's nothing for the bowlers.
But what I'm trying to say is, with bowling, that's what I'm saying. Yes. Everything is in the batsman's favour. Yes. That people are in a sense resigned and saying, okay, listen, the bowler is going to go for 14 runs, 15 runs. So, as a bowler, if you're going for 14 runs and over, 15 runs and over, you're going for nearly 4 boundaries and over, right? So, there's very little pressure on you. If you go at 10 runs and over, they're saying you're doing a damn good job.
So, and I have a theory of this. You're absolutely right, because what my point now is, teams are now discovering more and more that it is less and less opportunities to be defense, to play defense. You will get some situations where the ball's not coming on, you keep bowling cutters with one side, packed. But most of the time you can't defend because bats are also better, grounds are small, you're going to go.
Pitches are like road. Everything is in the batter's favour. Everything.
So here's my point. The point is that therefore, over time, the value of what we call of wicket-taking bowlers will rise. Why is Stark so big now? Why has he suddenly become big? Because it doesn't matter what conditions are, Stark can bowl wicket-taking deliveries because you can't stop guys except for a few extenuating circumstances by, playing the field or defending against them. You've got to go and take wickets. So what's going to happen over time is wicket-taking bowlers are going to become important to you because you can't defend. And that's why Stark is so big in this tournament, because he's getting wickets for his team.
Absolutely.
And that's what they're all looking at now. So your attack now, he'll tell Sharma, you go for runs, you go. Go and get me wickets up front. Get that seam and just get that seam position, get me wickets up.
So do you think that's what has been missing for Hyderabad, is those wicket-taking? We know Pat Cummins was a little expensive and there's no one who's become that lead wicket-taking bowler for Hyderabad still.
Because a lot of their focus is on batting. So they've built a team, a squad where they've said, okay, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to outbat the opposition. So if the opposition scores 240, 250, we'll get 260. We'll get 251 or whatever the score is. So when that happens, we've spoken about the fact that they've got a very solid bowling lineup.
On paper, it looks really good.
But we still talk about their batting because their batting unit outshines in terms of just the explosiveness of their batting unit outshines their bowling unit. So their focus is now completely on, listen, what's Travis Head going to do today? What's Abhishek Sharma going to do today? What's Ishan Kishan going to do today? Can they get to 300? Can they get to 280? So while the bowler like Simarjeet in that first game was very impressive. So I think while it's a really, if you have a look at the squad as a whole, batting, bowling, it's a high quality squad.
It's a high quality squad. And they've added to their squad without substantially losing.
Well, let's see what Pat Cummins does when he comes out with the ball. But we have to now, thankfully, because Joyda is in the house, he'll take it from here on. It's all yours, Joyda.
Okay, here's a question. Ali Brown and Travis Head are only 2 of only 4 players to achieve this in limited overs cricket. Name the other 2. Both are Indians.
Ali Brown is the Surrey opener who got a
Yeah.
double 100.
My lips are sealed.
He's just...
Rohan's really good at
No,
this. Huh? He's
look,
really
Rohan
good at
is.
it. The
Look,
best
firstly,
at
I want to tell you, his father was a proper cricket quizzer. I've done cricket quizzes with him, and he smashed Australia.
You're basically saying you know I am behind him.
So, yeah. You're following in his great footsteps.
You're saying you know I am behind him.
No, I've been noticing he's
No,
been
he's
getting
very
all.
good.
Yeah.
Even the general quiz I try on him, he's excellent.
So I must tell everyone on Twitter that I don't think y'all could have been faster than Rohan, but please write in with your answers as quickly as y'all can. I don't know
He's
the
given you
answer,
a hint.
but he's
Yeah, I
giving
need
you
to
a
now
hint.
try and figure out what it
he'll
is.
figure
But
it out, and we need to figure out our scores. I'm finally off the mark. It's just been the most miserable IPL for me, but Rohan, you go first.
it's a tricky one because we don't know what the pitch is like in terms of...
Is it a spin
which captain is
yes.
But with KKR batting first, I am going to go with 196.
Wow, because I was going to go for 198. I'm going to go, because you said 196, I think I'm going to go 212.
196, 212. I am going with 188.
Okay.
I was supposed to get help from Bihana producer who's not helped me, but I'll go with 188. We've got a number in from our producer. He's saying 220.
Okay.
But anyway, now it's too late. We will be giving you all the updates and seeing if they get close to any of our scores by the 10 over point. So do join us there. Thank you so much for watching Voltas FreshAir Coolers presents Cricbuzz Live.
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ Hyderabad Express. Station, Netaji Bhawan.